Miniature Collector was a magazine or publication that was published once a month from June 1977 to August 2018. And sadly, like a lot of magazines, it no longer exists. The fun thing about the Miniature Collector was they sometimes had little things in the middle. I call them centerfolds, where they'd have craft ideas. You can see on the left, these are some photographs that somebody has put lace and fabric on. And then you can tear it out, and then there's two of each here where you can put lace and fabric on these little pieces of Victorian style art and make these little ladies come to life. So that's what I decided to do today. So I got out my huge humongous stash of lace, and some of this lace was my friend Lil's lace as well. And because I have two of each of these pictures, I figured, well, I'll give a set to her and the two of us can work together. So here's the first one that I did, where I decided to put her in a black dress. And as you can see, I used only black on this particular one. So this ribbon is what I used for her dress. And then I found a bunch of lace that I could use for the rest of her outfit. So didn't have, or had kind of a limited supply of black, but I think she turned out quite good. Although I think her head looks a little bit tiny, and you'll see how I fixed that in the end. Here's the one that Lil's working on. So that multicolor at the bottom of that dress is pieces of this lace here that she was cutting out and putting on in layers, and it turned out just absolutely stunning. I love this lace because you can see it's already kind of got that shape to it that is just perfect for the bottom of a dress. So I'm just basically cutting it out willy-nilly and trying to keep to the form of the actual picture. And here's what I've done to the bottom of this dress. And once again, I used that same lace that Lil used because it looks so beautiful. I had to copy her. But that's okay. Copying is a form of flattery. So on top of that lace, I put some white cotton, you can see, and I tried to gather it to give it 3 dimension. Here's the cotton that I used. And that's the bottom of this gal's dress. So, and then I just slowly built it up using different laces and tried to make it look just kind of like a Victorian gown. So there's no perfection to this. You just kind of do your best and fill it all in and make sure that the sleeves are done well. I think getting the sleeves correct is probably the ticket to being good at this. So yeah, I think it looks pretty cute. So I just kind of kept on. This was time in order to do it. It just was not a quick craft at all. It took quite a while to be able to accomplish this. So this little gal who was all in cream needed a little bow in the middle of her dress. So I cut some of this I guess it would be rust color lace out and put a little bow in the middle of her dress. And then that wasn't quite enough. I had to give her a little hat. So when you cut up the lace and then you use tacky glue, it stops it from fraying. So I'm confident that there will be no fraying on this. So here's the one that Lil worked on, and just turned out beautiful. Look at that little tiny hat she put on her. And then here's one that I chose to do all in white, like a wedding gown. So you can see I've got the bottom of her little dress done, and I'm really pleased with that. And so now I'm just putting in the top of her little dress. And oh, that looks so cute. But she definitely needs straps, so I'm not quite finished yet. So Yeah, this was a fun craft, but as I say, it did take a lot of time. But, and you don't have to have these little cutouts from this particular magazine. You can find other pictures and shrink them down as long as you do it on cardstock. And here's the one that I started here, and that was gingham ribbon that I used for that particular dress. So, and you can see I got her all done with the gingham ribbon. And then I gave her a little white hat with a little dot of the gingham ribbon right in the center of her hat. And I think that looks really cute. And the white eyelet lace actually turned out really nice. So the other dress I'm going to do in this burgundy color. So as I say, you just got to keep on trimming and trimming and trimming until you got it the way you want it to look. So there's the black one with the little hat on it. Doesn't it look so much better with the hat? So I'm quite pleased. So I've got those two done, completely done. And then here's the third one. So yeah, I'm kind of pleased with my efforts there. So there's the black one completely done and set in a frame. And I think she turned out pretty cute. And then here's the one that Lil worked on. And yeah, that looks absolutely beautiful. That lace on the doll on the right, or the girl on the right, is just beautiful. And then here's the one that I did with the rust colored hat and little ribbon at her waist. I thought that one turned out pretty good. And then here's the one with the fan and the beautiful white lace dress. And I even puffed up the top of the bodice of the dress so it looked like she had breasts. And then here's the one that I did in the blue gingham ribbon. And I'm quite pleased with the efforts. Although I will say, I think it's one of those crafts that practice makes perfect. So the more you do it, the better you would get at it. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased. Unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of frames that were the correct size. So I chose to come home and take out my miter shears and some popsicle sticks, and I'll show you the easy way of making these frames. So when you make this style of frame, it is not necessary for you to miter the corners. It won't matter one way or the other, because after I'm finished painting it and gluing it together, I'm actually going to go ahead and lay lace all over the top of it. So you won't be able to see that there is not mitered corners on this. So why go through the hassle of mitering it if it's all going to be kind of covered up anyways? Mitering is an exact precision kind of thing, and if you don't get it exactly right, it looks fairly shoddy. So doing it this way for this style is not a bad thing. So as you can see, I've got out the tacky glue, and I'm just putting a little bit of glue, and I'm gluing this little picture frame together, and that's what it looks like. And once I've got it glued together, I should have probably let it dry, but I didn't. I just wanted to plow ahead so I could get the video finished. And then I'm painting it with my favorite color brown, which is burnt umber. So I'm just painting it, making sure that I'm getting all around the edge, and especially on the inside of the frame where it's going to be next to the picture. And then you can see I've got a little bit of lace here, and I'm just cutting out a little piece of lace that will be the same width as the frame. And then I'm just going right over the barely dried paint, and I'm just going to, see, glue it all down. And that will give this frame so much dimension. I know it doesn't look like much, but once it's dry, you wouldn't believe how nice this will turn out. So, and once again, I'm just like covering this up, and it'll look like carved wood when it's all done. So, and it doesn't matter what kind of lace you use, any kind will do. Actually, the one that I did when I was at Lil's place, I used some braided lace, And for these ones, I just use regular old lace. So I'm just covering it well with some of this acrylic craft paint in burnt umber. And now I have to actually let it dry. So I've got a second frame I've got to build anyways. So now it's dry. I've got a paint marker in bright gold, and I'm just very lightly going over the lace. And that's what gives it that carved wood antique frame kind of look. So I know it doesn't look like much, but it looks really good once it's done. Now, if you don't have one of these metallic felt markers or paint markers, you can actually use gold paint, but you have to dry brush it because you don't want to completely cover it. So now I'm just going to take some my trusty tacky glue and put it all the way around the edge of my little piece of art. And I'm just tickled pink with this. I think it turned out really cute. And I think it would be a really, really easy project for anyone to duplicate. You just gotta search around on the internet, find the right piece of artwork or photograph, and shrink it down, print it on cardstock, and away you go. So, and the more elaborate the little gowns are on the piece of artwork that you're covering, the better it will be. So I'm just gluing this little frame down, and I'm quite pleased with the way that looks. So I'm going to have to let this dry for a little bit, and then I will cut them out. So I'm just taking my scissors and cutting it out. I would have actually used an X-Acto blade to cut it out, but it's late at night and I didn't feel like searching through everything to find my X-Acto knife, so instead I'm using some pretty sharp precision scissors. So there you go. That's what it looks like. So I'm just adding a little bit more gold highlights to it, just to bring it out. Bring out that lace, and I'm really pleased with the way those look. So, but I'm not quite done. I have to make sure that where the paper was, that I take out some paint, and in this case, I'm just using black paint marker, and just going around the edge so that all the white is completely covered so that it looks nice when it's hanging on a wall. So I'm quite pleased with the way that looks. So I'm just quickly gonna go around the edge of all three that homemade frames were made for, and that way it'll give it kind of a complete look when looking at it from the side. So yeah, it's too bad I didn't have any dark brown, but I only have light brown and black, so I chose to use black. So I'm quite happy with doing the picture frames this way, and I think I've done them on a previous video, but I mean it's just a really super easy peasy way to make a frame for your dollhouse pictures that is pretty cost effective. I mean, popsicle sticks, or as they call them in the UK, lolly sticks, don't cost very much. And, here in Canada, we can pick them up at the dollar store for, I think like $1.50 for a huge bag of them. So they go a long way, that's for sure. So, and they're really handy to use in miniature crafts. So it's worth having at least one package of them in your stash. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the way this edge looks with the black on it. And you won't notice that the top of it is brown and the edge is black when I'm finished. Well, there you go. There's my finished product. So yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. I'm really pleased. I especially like this white one. I think it turned out really pretty. And the colored ones turned out fairly nice too. The little gingham dress with the eyelet turned out pretty good. And see how much better that looks with the black hat on it. It's almost like that little girl had, her head was too small for her body. So, and you can see, I believe that one is a photograph, where the others were just art drawings. So Yeah, so I mean, it should be pretty easy for you to find art similar to this and shrink it down and try this little craft yourself. Well, I'd like to thank you very much for watching today's video. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, it's free to do so, and it really does help my channel grow. And if you do subscribe to my channel, please make sure your notification bell is turned on. And that way you'll know every time I upload a new video. And hit that like button as well. All these things really do help my channel. Well, thank you once again. And as always, have the best day ever. And I'm really interested to know how many of you are going to try this little craft. It was really a lot of fun. It was painstakingly detailed and took a long time, but it was super fun to do.